Recording. Great. Good morning. So for announcements, I just wanted to, I see that a lot of people did the pre-course survey, so thank you very much. I'm still missing a couple, and a couple of you took it like 3 times. So you just need to take it once. But if you haven't taken it yet, I have the link and I'll drop it, I'll drop it in here in a minute. And also, there was a second survey sent out for the Rhode Island farm tours for SurveyMonkey. So I'm also going to drop that in the chat box for you. And I'm also going to upload, there's 4 forms for today's class that you might find useful. So all of those will be found in the chat once Anne starts talking. And that's it. Did anyone have any questions or follow-ups from last week's class? Our talkative group, Anne. Okay, so without further ado, Anne Martin will be teaching our class today, and she is a retired colonel from the Marine Corps. She retired in 2016. Her final position was the branch head of Manpower Plans and Policy. She was responsible for the oversight of Marine Corps' effort to fully integrate women into ground combat arm MOSs and units. She grew up in Vancouver, Washington, and is an '89 graduate of Stanford University. With a degree in human biology, she holds 2 associate's degrees in Korean and Japanese language studies, earned from the Defense Language Institute Foreign Language Center in '96 and 2008, and she graduated from the Japanese National Institute for Defense Studies in 2009. And then she has a long list of accomplishments throughout her career. Upon retiring in 2016, she started an organic farm business in Mid-Coast, Maine, and developed a farmer veteran training program that's Boots to Bushels. It's currently in its 5th year of training veterans and beginning farmers throughout New England. She currently lives in California and recently founded the California chapter of the Farmer Veteran Coalition to continue her work with farmer veterans here. There. So, go ahead, Anne.
Hey, good morning, everybody. So psyched that Trisha, I don't know if you know the story, but I had moved out of Maine a couple of years ago, but I was still trying to run the program. I developed the program in 2020, and then, through a course of life events, right? So I ended up back in California, taking care of my 94-year-old mother, and I was just, going back and forth to Maine to try and keep the program going. And I was doing the online portion was fine, but, I just being so far removed and not being able to be there so much, I was just like, I can't keep doing this. And at that same time, Trisha reached out to me because she wanted to start a program in Rhode Island. And I was like, baby, I can do one better than that. You can take over part of the grant money, which, took a little bit of time, but so you guys are in great hands. I trust her incredibly with my little baby, right? I feel like this is my little baby. So I'm a proud mother hen to see so many Mainers on the call and so many folks from there's Connecticut, Maryland. Love that you guys are here, and obviously the Rhode Island folks. It's easier obviously to keep this program going, regionally because of, as I think it was Marissa was talking about earlier, just the growing patterns and the seasons and very similar activity that happens. So I know you guys are going to be getting more into the production side of things. And so what Trisha had asked me to talk about was the business planning side, right? So this is one of those things that you have to do as an entrepreneur. And if you haven't heard it yet, and you haven't really done that affirmation and understand that you are an entrepreneur. I remember I couldn't even spell that word for the longest time. And certainly in the military, you're not trained to think like an entrepreneur. For the non-veterans, I don't know what your backgrounds are, so maybe you have a little more business knowledge to support you through this next event. But I'll tell you right now that the production side of things and learning how to grow your flowers, your seedlings, and even if you're doing livestock, that's the easy part. The hard part is making your business sustainable and earning a profit. I can't tell you how many times I talk to veterans in particular that go, oh, I just want to feed people and I just want to, I don't want to charge too much. And that is the wrong answer, because if you don't charge enough, right? And too much is obviously, an issue, but if you don't charge enough, you will not have a business. That's just the bottom line. Okay. So don't feel bad about that. Shift your mindset. It's like, it's okay to be profitable, and you should be profitable. And that's what we're gonna talk a little bit about. So before I get ahead of myself, let me share my screen and make sure I got the right one showing. And we're going to talk about developing today. What I would like you to come away with today is just a one-page business plan. And it's a little bit different from a normal full-blown business plan, but we're going to go through all that. So this is my first time teaching this issue all in one class. So I hate to put you guys as guinea pigs, but I kind of are. I've taught every one of these separately. I don't know how long it's going to go, I guess is my bottom line. And we're going to go into breakout rooms. So dust off your, shake out the cobwebs in your head and get ready to talk to each other, because I really want to be interactive. I want to learn what you're thinking. I want to help you kind of get your mindset into that entrepreneurial mindset, and you're a business person and how you're going to do that. But it all starts with a plan, and we'll talk about that. So let me start the slideshow. And that's my contact info. Trisha will, I'll send Trisha a copy of the slide deck, so you'll have contact or you'll have access to my information. Call me, email me. Email's preferable. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to give me a call, and I'd love to talk with you. So as you said, I was in the Marine Corps. I did 27 years active duty as an intelligence officer. That's, I think, a picture of me sometime in the maybe early 2000s. I think that's in Iraq. But I did Iraq, Afghanistan. I lived in Korea, Japan. Had a great career, really, really fortunate. So in 2016, when I retired, my partner and I at the time, both of us were kind of, he was a Marine as well. And we were both kind of in the, like, we don't want to work in DC area anymore. We want to be able to roll out of bed and grab a cup of coffee and go to work. And both of us kind of had a little bit of, he had some more gardening. I really wanted to have bees and chickens. I will tell you, chickens are the gateway drug to livestock. So just be prepared, because you start with those little buggers and you just want to have more. So we started with vegetables first, and I realized I'm showing this picture because it has no vegetables on it, because we quickly expanded. I got my bees, I got my chickens, and then I got some sheep, and I got pigs, and we went in. Living in New England is awesome because you can do syrup, and we called our syrup hardcore, as a nod to the Marine Corps. And we did a boiling of it, and we did a lot of stuff. It was on small scale, but we did a lot. And I'll kind of explain it, kind of go over that a little bit too, because doing too much too soon can be a challenge. And I don't know if any of you are kind of facing that. But if you're not aware, you are able to get grants for high tunnels, at least in Maine, and I'm pretty sure it's throughout. Trisha, I don't know if you've got some folks that are getting high tunnels. So you can get a grant for high tunnels. That's a great program, you guys, if you can get into that. That's we got 3 of them through the National Resources Conservation Services, so 30 by 96. You have to pay for it up front, but they will reimburse you once they inspect it and make sure that it's built correctly. If anybody has building skills, there's a lack of people who go around New England to build high tunnels. Everybody pretty much buys the material and tries to do it themselves and gets friends to help. But if you're not really savvy with that, it's really hard. The one person at one point, we did look around just because we kind of ran out of time. We needed to get done quickly. They were charging like $6,000 or $8,000 to get those things built. So there's a little business tip, that if you're in that mindset, you might be able to, take a team around and start doing that. But we did farmers markets, we did CSAs, we did wholesale, we did retail to restaurants and grocery stores, so and I think, Trisha, you're probably going to get into that, some of the marketing channels, throughout the course of this program. So there's a lot of opportunity out there. We did some value added. You can see I did jams. I also I'm half Korean, so I started making kimchi based on the, Napa cabbage that we were growing. So everything that went into our kimchi, I essentially grew on the farm, and that was really fun. And people loved it because in Maine, as you can imagine, there wasn't a lot of local kimchi being made. But the stuff I made was pretty authentic. So, and then here's just a pro tip. If you haven't gotten your logo created yet, I think this will probably come up in your marketing classes as well. Design Crowd is where we got ours done. A lot of folks also use Fiverr.com. Are you guys familiar with some of these things? Anybody gotten their logos designed? Okay. And then the only thing I would say, I love our logo because this little art rendering here is actually our house. And, it's got it's got a tree that we actually had on there. It's a little too messy, honestly, right? Nobody needs to see that. Like, and nobody really looked at that except for me. And then I would also say having a logo with this long thing around the middle, don't do that. Keep it small because you want to be able to have something either in a square or a circle that you can post on all your social media sites. This got to be a little unwieldy when I tried to put it on some social media sites because the chase stream part took up so much space that you couldn't really see like the small logo. So that's just a little, I made mistakes. We'll all make mistakes, but hopefully just keep that in the back of your mind. Your websites, a lot of people use WordPress. GoDaddy is another popular one. I used, again, because I thought I knew what I was doing, I used Network Solutions, and that was a little too clunky. So, do what your peers are doing. And everybody seemed to have a lot of good success with WordPress and GoDaddy. And then my final little pro tip is don't ignore social media. We can have a discussion about that if we have time later. But, those of us who don't like people and don't want to deal with people, social media is going to build your business. You have to have a personal Facebook page in order to build the business page. You don't have to do anything on your personal stuff, but you're going to want to showcase all the amazing things that you're doing with your farm business and all the people you're influencing, and it's just going to be beautiful. So I highly recommend that. Okay, so that was just a little side note. All right, today what I wanted to do, I said we're going to go over building this one-page business plan. And I think, Trisha, you posted in there the one-pager. Yes, Canva's great. Okay, we will try to go. I'll highlight that when I get there to that. But what we're going to do today is just go over the 5 parts of this one-pager. And I've got a little video here forward. We're going to go into the next one. So we're going to build this simple one-page business plan by the end of our time together. And before we do that, though, I do want to have this discussion about the business plan writ large, right? The big business plan that you're going to use for securing funding as a major part, to help your customer, help your employees and yourself and your family as a guide road, a road guide. Thank you. The one pager is essentially kind of like a precursor. So that's what we're going to do today is like get your juices flowing about what is your vision, what is your mission, what are your goals in order to reach that, and then what are the action steps, what's the strategy and the action steps that you're going to take in order to feed up to your vision. The business plan also does that. It's just on a larger scale and it's a little bit more formal. So today what we're doing is a little more informal. No, let's go to ag plan. Have you guys talked about this at all, Trisha, about business planning? And
okay. Nope, this is the first we've done it.
Okay, so I'm going to play this little video and hopefully this works right. Hold on, you know what? I got to stop sharing real quick because I think I have to share and make sure that I've got my video shared with sound. There we go. Okay, I'm going to play this and hopefully this works.
Do you really need a business plan? Will it benefit your business? Let's talk for a bit about who needs a business plan. I think any business will benefit from writing a business plan, but not every business needs a plan. A business plan is particularly valuable if you're in the beginning stages of your business, considering major changes to your business, expanding your business, or starting a new business, or if you're in a creative, niche, or unconventional business area. If you're asking for financing or promoting your business to others, developing a business plan demonstrates that you have taken the time to think through all the details that are needed to make your business succeed. A good business plan shows that you know your business, that you know how to manage all of the complexities of your operation, and what it takes to make it successful. One of the primary uses of a business plan is to communicate your business to others. It helps you explain your business, your ideas, and your vision externally to lenders or investors or potential partners. It also helps you effectively explain why you do what you do internally to family members and employees. A business plan helps you tell your story, and it helps you explain why your business stands out compared to other businesses. What is unique about your business? Why should it succeed? And why are you operating it the way that you are? Most importantly, the reason to develop a business plan is that it will help you improve the management of your business. Business planning is like building a house. You wouldn't build a house without first developing a blueprint. A business plan is the blueprint for your business. It describes how you're going to operate, and it can serve as your operational guide.
Okay, so pretty straightforward.
Do you really need a business plan?
Okay, yeah, we've already heard you say that. And let me get back into our guide. So let's I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts about business planning? And you go ahead and come off mute. And like I said, we have time today, so we can spend some time talking and getting to know each other. Anybody have an experience in outside of farming or any other businesses that you may have started that you've done a business plan?
This is Murray speaking. Can you hear me okay?
I can, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I developed a pretty robust business plan using a subscription service, maybe about 9 months ago, for the purpose of acquiring the business, and it worked. It allowed me to get funding to purchase the property, and I look back at it now, and it's so outdated after 9 months. I haven't planted a seed yet, and already I need to create a huge adjustment to the plan. So
I love that.
they change. That's the bottom line, is that they are always changing.
Yeah, Murray, that is spot on. That is like one of the takeaways today. Like all the thoughts that we're doing, this is just the beginning. You know, you think every day, you think every minute of the day. You think that things that you think about today are going to be changing tomorrow. You know, you are, and you're going to have some experiences behind you, and that's going to help guide you. So thank you, Murray. That's awesome. Anybody else, like maybe in a different industry? Okay, that's great. That's okay, because you don't have any bad habits, right? This is what we're going to try and instill in you, is that let's just get through this. You have to do it methodically. And you can do it not methodically. I mean, sure, lots of people just throw things. Was your subscription service, Murray, was that Live Plan?
It was, yes.
It was, yeah. Yeah. We started out with Live Plan too, but I'm going to share with you that ag plan that we went to. Let me share my screen and bring it in. So this ag plan is developed by the University of Minnesota, and you know what, I'm just going to go to ag plan. Ag plan. Is it .com? Yeah. Okay. University of Minnesota.edu ag plan, and if you go in here, we can. Whatever the introduction is, but you can go in there. It's free. Here's the beautiful, Murray, get rid of that Live Plan subscription, and this is free, and you can continue to update it and change it. And, again, it's just a wonderful, and it walks you through it all. So when you guys are going in here and you're starting to work on your development, your business plan, you've got lots of options. The ag commodity, that's going to be for the bigger farms. I'm assuming most of us here are small, small scale farmers. Your value added production is if you're going to be developing like kimchi as a value added product, jams, breads, anything like that. The ones that you guys are want to go into, I'm assuming, for most everybody here, is going to be the small business plan. All right, so this is designed for any kind of small business, but let's just call it specials, and you create a plan, and then you start developing the plan. And so here it'll take you into your cover page. You can put your logo, your artwork, anything you want, your contact info, and it helps you discuss detail what you should be doing. It provides different resources. It gives you some samples. Okay, so Triple P meets, and then you do this for the whole. It just helps you walk. It walks you through. It's kind of like kind of like TurboTax, but for business plans. It'll walk you through and whatever you don't, understand. So stuff we're going to be doing today, we're going to be working on your vision and mission statement. We're going to be working on your goals. And then we're going to work more on your action plan, which is kind of your operations piece. But see how it all lays everything out. So really easy piece, really great piece of gear. Highly recommend using it if you are going to be working on your business plan, and you can start it now, right? So stuff that we work on today, you can get yourself a subscription. No, it's not even a subscription. Just get yourself an account and start transferring some of that stuff over there. Okay. Any questions on that? All right. Trish, did you get the address for that so you can send that out to everybody? Okay. Easy peasy. All right. So we kind of talked about the business plan and why you need it. Anybody else? I mean, for me, the biggest thing is you minimize risk, right? Anytime that you are, especially for the military folks in here, we do planning for any type of operation that we're going to get into, and it's all about risk mitigation, right? So you want to think about all those things that might come and hit you in the face or smack you in the behind, because you want to make sure that you're taking a look at what you want your business to become, and then all the steps that are necessary in order for you to get to where your business needs to be. And again, as Murray highlighted, things change, right? Even your vision can change, right? You may have a vision for your farm business right now, and that could change in a couple of weeks, could change after you take this course, right? I've had a lot of people, and one of the things that I loved about Boots to Bushels is that it actually, I mean, we had probably just as many people drop as we did go through, because I think dropping and not doing something that you can spend a lot of money on and a lot of resources and a lot of pain for something that you really, really don't want to do. Farming is not an easy, it's a beautiful, beautiful lifestyle, but it can be a hard business. And especially going back to my point, if you're not profitable, it's a really, really hard business, because you still have to pay taxes. You still have to, pay, your operating costs. And you don't want your operating costs being more than your income. I mean, that's just kind of basic math. So, things may change and you may decide, yeah, this really isn't for me. Or you may decide, hey, I really, really wanted to do, run some cattle in mid-coast Maine, and and then you'll go like, that's not a good idea. Maybe there's more of a market for me to do my flower production and start focusing on weddings, and that's okay. Or you may say, yeah, this is not for me. I'm going to go back to corporate America. Those are all valid things to do, but you're doing it because you're armed with information and education, and you can make those decisions based on reality and what you know about yourself and what you know about how you're going to move forward in your future. So all about minimizing risk. What else does anybody think would a business plan be good for? It's okay if you repeat something that we've already heard. I just want to make sure that it's in your heads. Murray mentioned one, got some funding. So who did you go through, Murray? Did you go through FSA, or who was it that you went through to get some funding for your land?
It was through a great lender based out of New Hampshire, Walden Mutual, and they're having gone out to maybe 5 different potential lenders and getting no from all of them. It was a really good experience working with Walden Mutual. So I think they're active throughout New England.
Beautiful. That's a great tip. Do you mind sharing your interest rate that you got with them? What the terms of the loan were?
Yeah, it was 7.15, and it closed in November.
Congratulations. Great.
Thank you.
They do a 30-year for you or shorter term?
It was either 25 or 30 year. I can't recall.
Okay, cool.
But it was, a great program, worked very smoothly.
Yeah, to purchase land, that's hard to do. So well done finding them. Yeah. You can get operating loans, like a lot of folks, because our farming life cycle is, especially in New England, right? You're not doing a lot in the January, February timeframe, even maybe December timeframe. You may have several months where you're doing other things, like you could be doing Christmas trees, you could be doing, maple syrup. We were able to do that in the winter-ish time. So you're going to have some months where you don't have a lot of revenue coming in because you're not selling anything. And so what you can do is use your business plan to show to a lender and ask for an operating loan. And sometimes, usually those operating loans can be anywhere from like 6 to 9 month terms. And you essentially show the lender that, hey, I in May and June, I'm selling my broilers, I'm selling my lamb, all those things. I'm going to have a lot more revenue. So you float me a loan starting in January, and by May, I'll be able to pay that loan off. And that's why they do a little short-term loan. So those are called operating loans. I don't know what the interest rates are. They typically are a little bit lower, because it's just short term and they get their money back in short order. And I think the biggest part about here is there's no wrong way to write a business plan, right? We're going to do something now. Don't be scared. Even when you start on ag plan, don't be scared. Just get something on there and just start thinking. And even if you're just putting notes in there, just something to kind of get your juices flowing. Because if you do go to a lender or any borrower, sometime even grants want you to submit a business plan of some description, because they are trying to minimize their risk as well. If you go to Farm Service Agency, I used to work with Agribility, and so Agribility, there's a program called vocational rehab. They all wanted business plans because they would give like $10,000 to, this was working with disabled people who want to get into farming, but they want to see a business plan too, because again, that organization is trying to minimize their risk. If they're giving you money, they want to understand that you know what you're doing, you've got a plan, and most importantly, you've got a plan to pay them back, right? That's what they want to make sure that they've got. So you have to be able to think through all that stuff. Okay. So this is what we're going to, I hope my links work. Looks like they do. This is essentially, and this is what Trisha, I put in the chat box. So we'll take a little bit of time here, and maybe you guys can go out and print that out. If not, it's okay. You can just kind of work it there. But this is what we're going to go through today. We're going to work through working on your vision statement, working on your mission statement, and then these we're going to do like 3 or 4 objectives, or as many as you can during our time frame. But you can always go back and address these. So your objectives essentially is your goals. And we'll talk about how to identify. And if you haven't done SMART goals before, we'll talk about that today. And then your strategies are, what's the strategy you're going to take in order to meet those objectives? And then what are the action plans you're going to take in order to meet those strategies that are meeting those objectives? I know there's a kid's song kind of about a bump on a log or something, and a fly on the bump on the log. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing today. All right. And kind of a little overkill, but I think you get the idea, right? It starts with the vision. What and essentially why are you building this? And then why does your business exist? What business results are going to be measured? That's going to be your objectives and your goals. And your strategy addresses how. And then your action plan is the what is the work to be done. Okay. Check the chat real quick. Okay, thanks, Murray, for doing that. All right. All right, any of you guys familiar with Simon Sinek? You get a thumbs up? I see Danielle, yeah. Okay. If you haven't, I feel like one of our greatest thinkers, and he doesn't call himself a philosopher, but he did a lot of work with us in the Marine Corps, especially when we were doing the integration of women into ground combat arms. And he was really instrumental in helping us kind of shift some mindsets and getting out of old white guy way of thinking, as you can imagine the Marine Corps was doing with that particular topic. So I'm going to share his video with you. This is not actually his video. He did a TED Talk in like 2009. I mean, he did it a long time ago, and it just really caught on, and he's built this whole industry around Start With Why. This video is actually an animation, and it just kind of is a summary of his book and his talks. But I highly recommend that if you got some time after this, I think it's about maybe a 30-minute talk, but well worth it. And it's not just your business, but it's also kind of with who you are. And what your why is as a human being, and what you're kind of get to your purpose on this earth. So let's go ahead and watch this. You know what?
What separates a good business venture from a great
Can
business
you guys hear that? Did I forget to share with sound again? You guys could hear it? Okay.
venture? And how can you be the kind of leader that builds success that lasts the test of time? Simon Sinek, author of Start With Why, believes the answers to these questions is less about the what or the how, and more about the why. When you start a business, the most important things are the what, the how, and the why. These components make up something the book calls the golden circle. The why is the bullseye, the how is the middle ring, and the what is the ring on the outside. The why is your vision, the mission that you stand for. It's basically the whole motivation for your business. The how is about taking action on the why. It's the practical steps you need to take in order to achieve your mission and bring your vision fully to life. The what is the most tangible part of the business. It's the product or service you're offering to achieve the vision you laid out in your why. Here's an example. Think about Apple. Their whole why is basically, we're different and we want to constantly be challenging the status quo. The way they do that, their how, is by making products that are well designed. Then, of course, the what are the phones, the computers, the watches, etc. But recognize it's not really about the what so much as it's about the why. And it's not just about keeping the why in mind at the beginning, at the root. You want the why to be the guiding force in every aspect of your business. Let's bring back the golden circle, but imagine it as a three-dimensional cone. At the top of the cone, you've got, can you guess it? Your why! And you can imagine that this represents your business's top leadership team. These are the people responsible for coming up with a killer why and spreading that message throughout the rest of the organization. The middle ring, of course, is your how. Imagine this ring as upper-level leadership. Not quite CEO status, but next rung down. Their job is to know the why deeply, but execute it through the how. Rounding things off, we've got your what. This is home to your standard level employees. When everyone in an organization is aligned, your cone becomes a golden megaphone, perfectly amplifying your company's mission. The last thing you want to make sure of as you move forward with your business is to not lose sight of your why as you become more successful. The more successful you are, the more you expand, and the more distance your leadership team at the top of the golden megaphone gets from the daily aspects of your company. Once that happens, you're more likely to focus on the what or the how. This is called the split. Companies that split tend to stagnate. To avoid the split, pay constant attention to the state of your golden megaphone. Make sure that beautiful why continues to be the foundation that trickles down throughout the rest of your business. And measure the metrics that matter the most. Hint, those metrics ain't about money. Measure the level of belief you and the rest of your organization have in your company's vision. This is what will keep you successful. Finally, make sure any transition of leadership keeps the strength of your why intact. You need to train your successors to care as clearly and deeply as you do. If you keep your why strong and you put it at the heart of every decision you make with your business, you'll be a strong, steady pillar in a world of businesses with weak foundations. So stay focused and don't let your why die.
Okay. What do you guys think? Any thoughts? Oh, Brett. Yeah, you guys had got to read his book. Yeah, he's done a couple of them. He's also Leaders Eat Last. He learned that from the Marine Corps. There's another one I think he wrote about speaking so your children, not that your children will hear, or something like that. But what's something that you guys noticed with that megaphone in terms of employees, right? Upper level management, mid-level management, employees. Who are you in that situation?
I'd say right now, probably all of the above.
That is the key point, right? So your why should be really easy for your upper management, your middle management, and your employees to understand your why, because you are all of them, right? Has anybody got some whys they kind of want to share? We'll go into breakout rooms, but anybody got something that's just like really burning with them about food sovereignty and, bridging the gap between have and have nots? I mean, are they that lofty, or is it something a little more closer to home?
Yeah, I'd say just like providing like nutrient dense food to people regardless of kind of means. One thing that's important to me is trying to get involved in like the SNAP and WIC programs because I am in a relatively poor area. So being able to serve everybody and not just kind of catering to the general farmers market crowd is an important part of my vision, I'd say.
I love that, Arthur. Yeah, thank you. Anybody else? You guys thinking about it still? Have you guys thought about this? Has anybody kind of thought about what they're doing? Let's
Me, I'm starting a flower farm, so it's a little different, but for me, the locally sourced flowers is important. And my whole farm is going to be run on solar. So, and my delivery vehicle would be an EV vehicle. So, having that climate positive, um, you mission. But the why is because, because of the climate change, because of the, basically all the damage we've been doing by shipping flowers in from South America and all over instead of just locally sourcing them.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely spot on. I love that. For us, and for me, I call it our next yes, right? Because as a 27-year veteran in the military, I had been saying yes to other people all the time, right? Because in a good way, not in a yes ma'am kind of way, but serving my country was really important to me, and it gave me that patriotism. It gave me that sense of purpose, and I found that again in farming. Right, that was my next yes, is because I was saying yes to feeding my community and feeding those around me, and we weren't just growing food for ourselves, but we were growing food for a larger entity. So that really resonated with me. Is like I wanted to still be able to serve in a way that felt good to me, and farming just happened to be that vehicle and that platform for which we could serve. So that was cool. So kind of related, what industry do you think McDonald's is in? You guys probably all heard this. Just tell me what does McDonald's do? What's the industry that they're in?
Well, I've always heard it's more of a real estate business than anything else.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of an old question, right?
Yeah.
Most people will say, oh, they sell fast food. They're in the fast food service. They sell hamburgers. Not at all. That just happens to be their vehicle for scooping up real estate all over the world. Right. That's how they make their billions of dollars is through real estate. So it's that little different of a mind shift, right? We're not just selling food. There's something I mean, anybody can go and sell food, but to make a business out of it, there is something deeper within you that is really, at the crux of why you're doing this, right? Because I'm sure most of your friends, if you didn't grow up in a farming family, I didn't. You heard I went to Stanford. My mother still is like, I didn't raise you to go become a farmer. Even in her head, it's like, that's not the cool thing that people go out and do, and you're not going to be making a ton of money. That's true, but that's not my why. All right. My why doesn't have anything to do with money. It has to do with being a blessing to people and being able to serve people. I mean, that's just how my DNA is kind of wired. And I suspect that most of you are in that same category. How many of you came became a farmer to make a bunch of money? I don't see anybody with their hands up, right? But how many people came into farming to kind of make a difference in their community? Right? It's a little deeper, and I just love farmers because I feel like we get it. Okay, let's keep going to and get you out of there. Oops, I want to get you out of there. Nope, don't want to hear you again. You did your job. There we go. All right, I think we did that. Okay, I'm gonna, does everybody have access to this core values worksheet that Trisha put in there into the chat? I can't see you guys if anybody says no. Trisha, do you want to post that maybe one more time?
Sure, I'll drop it in again.
Okay. So if you guys can pull that up on your screens, and what we're going to do is I'm going to give you, let's go ahead and incorporate this into a break. So we'll go until 10 o'clock, but in that time, so that's almost 20 minutes. That's a nice big, you can get a bio break in there, get yourself some tea, whatever. Circle 10 words out of this nearly 200 word list that resonate with you. Okay, this is kind of, we're getting into our values. And out of those 10, then pick the 5 that you most identify with. Okay. So we'll take I'll come back at 10 o'clock, and we're going to go into another exercise from that. All right. Oops. All right, Trish. One thing I always forget to do is pause during breaks, because poor people watching the recording would be like, ah.
I'll pause it, but let's work together to make sure I start it back up again. Please.
Ah, you remembered. Good job. All right. Anybody want to share a few of their values? I like this list. It's, makes me think of words that I don't usually think of.
Hi, Ariana here.
Hi, Ariana. Yeah, great. Thank you.
The 5 that I whittled down was family, loyalty, persistence, sustainability, and trustworthy.
All, right? So those are our personal values, but those are all prime values for your business. Were you guys kind of thinking that too? Were you thinking as you're doing it for your personal self that like, hey, this is stuff that I want my business to reflect as well? Like trustworthy, right? That's the biggest thing I think about buying local is you get to meet your farmers, you get to understand, they'll get to understand who you are, what your values are, how you're growing your food, how you're raising your animals. And then I hate to say this. So we raised we did organically certified chicken broilers. And if you guys haven't done broilers or eggs yet, you can get the organic certification. We were charging like $6 a pound because how the numbers worked. We were small scale, we were doing it ourselves. We paid ourselves, got the labor in there. So people were buying $35 chickens, right? Because they were only about 5-6 pounds. Didn't blink an eye, because these were people who knew us. They knew that we were treating our animals well. They knew that we were clean, and that we were doing the processing properly, and it wasn't a bunch of funky stuff, and they were willing to pay it. So just kind of out there. I saw somebody that had a hand up. Did I overtalk somebody? All right, who else is up for sharing their values? No judgment zone. This is all like, what we used to say in the Intel. Oh my gosh, it's been too long. I can't believe what we used to say.
Non-attributable.
Thank you, Danielle. Something like that. I
Also
feel like
in
there was
the
another
Intel
word.
business, so
Yeah. Nobody can say, go ahead.
about to leave it. So tired of working in a building with no windows.
Yes, ma'am.
Independence, enjoyment, stewardship, passion, discovery, balance. Although I'm still a workaholic and I think that farming will make it even worse.
Mm.
Challenge, community, family, and purpose.
Okay. You went for the 10, yeah.
I think more like touchy-feely.
And this is it's a great community to be part of. You want to do that. Absolutely. A lot of opportunities to, do really, really good things in the farming community. Okay. So I won't make you guys painfully go through sharing if you don't feel like sharing. It's totally up to you. All right. So what we're going to, I think I know it. I did want to kind of address this in a little more deliberate manner. So with those values, the reason I had you do that is because I don't want you to lose sight of that. Like, as we talked about earlier, your business plan will change, your action steps may change, your strategies may change, some of your goals may change, but your values really should always be your values, because this is who you are from day zero, all the experiences that you've had in your life to get you to this point where you are right now at this very moment. There's a reason that you're all here, and your values are part of that, right? So, there may be some subtle shifts in those, as you get more and more experienced, obviously, right? So who you are today, you're going to be a little bit different in 5 and 10, 20 years. But what I want to impart upon you is like, take those values and hold those dear and close to yourselves, because that's a lot about your why, right? That's also going to help drive you and inspire you and motivate you and be able to motivate others. And you want to take this business that you're building and make sure that your farm is working for you, right? Let's say that again. Your farm works for you. You do not work for your farm. Your farm does not have a mind of its own. It can't become anything unless you let it become that thing. So the thing that your farm is going to become is all a reflection of you, and your values have to guide that. Okay. There are some times when, it's very easy to get caught up and to get angry and to resentful, speaking from personal experience, because the farm started taking so much time away from me. Like, a lot of people, become entrepreneurs because they want a little bit of time flexibility. And time flexibility doesn't always mean time to go do other things. Time flexibility can be, hey, I really love this farm work. I really love being with the animals, and I want the time to be able to spend more time with them. That's okay. But it's when if you don't understand that one of your core values is traveling, or, having time with your family away from your home, and if your farm is constantly sucking the life out of you and sucking that time from you and sucking your money away from you so that you can't take a vacation every year, then there's going to be a problem, right? Can you see that? There's a disconnect between this thing that you're building, this business, this entity that requires love and attention, just like any other relationship, but it's also taking away from who your core values are. And, I knew that I needed at least once a year, I needed a vacation out of the country or someplace nice, not going away for the weekend up in northern Maine, which is beautiful, but that was just not my idea of like a real vacation. And so I started to become very resentful of the farm, and you gotta make some shifts. So for us, that was, we're not doing anything over the winter, and over the winter is when we're going to go take a nice vacation someplace warm. And it was beautiful. So that helped with the mindset, but I started to let that get away from me, like that core value. And I started to kind of loosen on it. But then I realized that was just making me resentful and, not happy around the people who loved me and I loved. Okay. So again, just the biggest part is whatever your core values are, make sure that your farm is doing the work for you, and that the farm allows you, it's a vehicle to do whatever the other stuff is that you want to do. If it so happens that farming is actually what you really want to do in life, then that's awesome. For some people, that's the case. Some people, it's not. Okay. I beat that dead horse enough. I think we're good on that. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to then really get into is, this is one of the first things you're going to do for your, sorry, get this stuff in the way, is the first thing that we're going to put on your one-page business plan is developing your vision statement. So what are you building? Okay. Should be able to answer questions in your head as you start thinking about this, is like, what type of business is this? Are you flour, veggies, livestock, dairy, cow calf operations, whatever it is, cheese, developing cheese. And then what market are you serving? What's the geographic scope? Are you looking to go through all of New England? Are you looking just in your little community? Are you looking to go nationwide? Where's your business located? Who are your target customers? Right? Are you going after health conscious? Hold on, guys. Hold on, Mama. Sorry, guys. Just give me a few seconds here. I've got some family stuff going on. How do I get out of here? Here we go. Okay, my apologies, everybody. Thank you. what are the key services and products that you're going to be producing, and then what do you want your revenues to be? Right, and that's really quick, but like, we're going to kind of get through this. So this is an example. This is how you kind of can phrase this, and we're going to take some time to go and do that. So you want to talk about, give yourself some timelines, right? Because this will help you guide, again, your objectives, your action steps. So within the next how many years, you're going to grow your company's name into you pick the dollar amount. One of the things that we can go back and talk about is understanding how much you need, this business to generate for you in revenue. What's your geographic scope, local, neighborhood, state, region, the type of business that you're providing, and the list of your 2 to 3 most successful products, if you have some already, or what you want them to be, and then a couple of characteristics of your ideal clients. So I know it looks a little chunky, but just here's an example. So within the next 3 years, grow Chase Stream Farm into an $80,000 annual local biodiverse farm, providing organically certified small fruit, veggies, and poultry to health conscious and hyper local supporting customers throughout Mid-Coast Maine. So that's what all that gobbledygook looks like, right? You've got the when, you've got the what, you got the how, and you got the to who, and you got the where. And the why is kind of, woven in there. It's a little more subtle. I mean, you could say, in the mission statement is we'll get a little bit more to the why. All right, so I'm going to try something here. And I'd like to have everybody go into breakout groups. So what would make it easy for you guys to be able to write? Because what you're going to do next is essentially work on developing your vision statements together. Do you guys need an example, or is it pretty straightforward for what you want to write? And I'm not sure why I'm even asking that, because I'm not sure what I could do when you're in your breakout rooms. I think there's a way that I can broadcast something, so I'll try and do that. So I'll put you into breakout rooms, and then I'm going to broadcast these 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 6 questions. Okay. All right, let's do this. This is part of the experimental piece, and I appreciate your guys's willingness to do that. Okay, so we got 21 minus 3 of us, that's 18, right? I'm gonna go into 6 breakout rooms. Do not include co-hosts. Okay, you're gonna have 3 to 4 people will be in your room, and then I'll try to broadcast those questions. Take about the next 10 minutes, and I'll also broadcast, when we got a minute to come back together and work on developing. You don't have to write them down, but I mean, if you guys want to talk them out to each other and just kind of get to know each other as well, that'd be kind of cool. Okay.
This meeting is being recorded.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Wait, we still have a few people should be jumping in. Unless we lost people in the Ethernet. Okay, well, hopefully people are coming back in. They didn't get kicked out because we started with 21. Now we're down to 13. I don't know how that happened. There we go. Here we go. All right, welcome back, everybody. Does anybody want to kind of share? Let's start talking about some of your visions out there. I can't wait to hear. And when you share, because we didn't do this at the beginning, I didn't want to take up too much time, but just where you're located and what kind of farm you're starting, you've already started or you want to start, and then what's your vision for that farm, for that business. Anybody got a hand up?
I can go.
Thanks, Arthur.
Yeah, we're talking. I mean, it was nice just to be able to talk to some other people in the class and figure out what they're doing. That's a cool opportunity. But I guess mine's still pretty loosey goosey. But I think the vision is. Oh, I'm from Maine. Got onto land last year and looking to kind of start just like a diversified small farm operation, poultry, vegetables. Did a couple of pigs last year, but just really for personal use. So I kind of just wrote down in the next 3 years, question mark. I'd like the farm to actually potentially be turning a profit. I imagine I'll probably be operating at something of a loss for the next year or so while I'm building up infrastructure. Turn a profit and be able to extract some kind of income or salary from the farm, and be kind of known in the community as a source for locally raised food, both on the vegetable and the egg and meat side, and expand like relationships with local restaurants and breaking into local markets.
Good. Yeah. And where are you located, Arthur?
I'm in central northern Maine, north of Bangor.
What's the town?
Milo.
Milo? Okay. Yeah, we were in Monroe,
Oh, cool.
between Bangor and Belfast. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Anybody else? I know. Murray, thank you.
Sure. Okay. So Murray Gates. I live in southern Rhode Island, just south of the campus of URI. But due to the lack of land, ended up in Connecticut. So I commute 1 hour west every day to go to the farm, which I've had since November, and I'm looking forward to getting things going. So the vision statement, which Chris helped me with, gave me some feedback. The farm within the next 5 years shall be a diverse agricultural operation with sales focused on eggs and soil amendments, serving the local and regional community, and demonstrating best practices in regenerative agriculture.
Nice.
And I messed out. I think I missed adding the revenue piece, which would be, it sounds ambitious, but it's kind of the nature of soil amendments. Revenue of $500,000 within that, or at the end of that 5-year period.
Wow. I didn't know soil amendments could generate that much revenue.
Well, people
Right.
pay you to dump their organics at your place.
Yeah, I've paid a lot for that. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. And that's a good point. So so Arthur talked about profit and Murray talked about revenue. You guys know the difference? Profit is what you get when you take your revenue minus all of your expenses. It's a very broad brush explanation. So revenue minus your operating expenses, your overhead expenses, and then you get your either net or your gross profit. Okay, so that's just a thing to think about. And Arthur, to your point, I will, truth in lending, we weren't profitable until year 5. And that was a little bit on us. We weren't as deliberate about keeping our operating costs down. And then what really kicked us over it is we started doing some of the value added production, and we actually also sold Korean burritos at the farmer's market. You would not believe how much people will pay for Korean burritos. And so that helped, get our profit margins up. Yeah. And I'll just tell you, like, value added, your profit margins are honestly higher on value added production. And if you're doing catering or restaurant food, stuff like that, the vegetable side of the house, the profit margins are pretty tight, just as
Can
what
I
it is.
ask,
It's a volumes game. Yeah.
when you added a commercial kitchen to the operation?
We
I'm
did.
assuming
Well,
you had one, yeah.
our property came with one, and we just
Oh,
had to
okay.
get it
Very nice.
certified. Yeah.
Nice.
So it had a separate building, and that was already previously used
Mhm.
as a commercial kitchen. Yeah. So that kind of helped out quite a bit.
That's big.
But you can get your home kitchen certified to do stuff like that too.
Yeah, we're starting to look into that.
Yeah. Great question.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else want to share, or just, you don't have to do your vision statement, just like what kinds of things you guys talked about in your breakout room? Danielle, how about you? What did you guys talk about?
So we, let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to find his name again. Oh, Murray. Murray went through his business plan for his farm, and then I was still typing mine. But we also talked about kind of, well, I went through something I had been worked on before, but it was more of like a mission statement, but we were talking about how you're selling your story
Mm.
and your like yourself, instead of like, like, because people are interested in like kind of your backstory.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were kind of talking about that, because my statement was talking about like, more my why. But I put within the next 3 years, grow full stem ahead into $50,000 annual cut flower market farm and native plant nursery with sales focused on local farmers markets, flower bouquet subscriptions, and a farm stand serving Mid-Coast Maine. Full stem ahead will offer market bouquets, DIY bride buckets, and native plant seedlings.
Okay, that's a little bit big for, that's a little bit detailed for your vision statement. You started off great, but maybe kind of
Yeah,
come out a little bit to the 10,000 foot level. But that's but we know what you're trying to get to. That's awesome.
okay.
Good.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else want to share? All right. Hearing none, let's move on then to the next part, is that mission statement, right? So this is where this is the thing. Like if anything out of your business plan is community facing, it's going to be your mission statement, right? Because this is kind of like the why does your business exist, and kind of somewhat to what Danielle was just kind of sharing with us, is like, what are you committed to providing to your customers? What promises are you making to your customers? What are the wants, needs, desires, pain, or problems that your products or services are solving, right? You always hear about this, is that get into business to solve a problem, right? If it's food insecurity in your community, that's why you're going, well, that's you're solving that problem. If there's a lack of kimchi in Mid-Coast Maine, you're going into business to solve that problem, or I didn't even know really if it was a want or a need. And so I kind of did it a little bit backwards. It was a little bit of a field of dreams, like build it and they will come. That worked out for us, but it doesn't always work out that way, because I had a lot of folks who, in my first Boots to Bushels, they came from the South. They really wanted to grow okra. There wasn't a huge market for okra in Mid-Coast Maine, and so that was one of those things they kind of had to pull back from. There's a way that you can, I'm kind of going off topic a little bit here, but survey your local community, survey your customers. This is why social media can be very useful. You can also just survey people at your local country store, however it works in your community, to understand, like, what is it that you want? Like if we do a CSA, and you guys are all familiar with what a CSA is, community supported agriculture. You buy a share, a food share, essentially, at the beginning of the year. Farmers get the money at the beginning of the year, not giving any product back, so it's unearned income, but it gives you the money to get started with your soil amendments, your seeds, blah, 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 blah. And then you provide, 8 to 16 weeks, depending on how your structure is, of food to those people who are part of your food share. That's a CSA. And so, you can ask your potential customers, like, what do you want us to grow? What kind of food is important to you? Is organically certified food really important to you? And then with those answers, you can start forming decisions, because the worst thing that you can do as a business owner is start making all these proclamations and plans and everything just based on your knowledge, right? You need to have some feedback from the customers that you're going to be serving of what they want. Okay. My partner wanted to grow Hubbard squash so bad. We grew Hubbard squash. You guys didn't know what those are? Those big, huge squashes, great for soup, but that's about it. And nobody bought them. So we had all these huge Hubbard squash. And probably could have found another market, but again, it's kind of, I know we talk a lot about values, but this is like really getting into the details about what it is that you're going to grow and what it is that you're going to provide. You need to be able to provide a service or fill a niche or fill a gap that nobody else is filling. Okay. And then what's your unique selling proposition? For us, it was a couple of things. It was being veterans. You'll see on our logo, we had veteran owned, locally grown. That was kind of our tagline. But really what we honed in on was, because we had all that infrastructure in the high tunnels, we were able to grow. And it was kind of like something about growing, being green when nobody else is, because we were growing in, we had like radishes in March and April and carrots, and we could overwinter them in the high tunnel. And then we also had our winter squash and everything we could grow well into the November timeframe because of those high tunnels. So it was, extending the season on each side of the shoulder of the growing season. And so we had fresh fruits and vegetables essentially when no one else did. That was our value proposition. Okay, so what does this mission statement do? It is both internal and external communication, right? Again, like I said, this is, if anything is going to be seen out there from your business plan, it's going to be your mission statement. And so this is how, even if you don't have employees right now, but you will someday have employees if you continue to grow, even if it's just seasonal. But you want them to understand what and why you're doing what you're doing and how you're going to be doing it. And then that's also for your external. And this is kind of to that megaphone thing, right? If you are giving to your employees, if they understand your why, they understand your mission, then they can execute it well. And you want to be able to communicate your core values, something that we just kind of, did a little workshop on. And you're going to be telling people what your primary products or services are, acts as your guiding light, and it can be that bridge between your why and your what. All right, let me go into SlideShare here. A few examples of mission statements. All right, let's see if this works. Okay, can anybody tell me which company has as their mission statement, bringing the best user experience to its customers through its innovative hardware, software, and services? Anybody got a guess? You can go ahead and come off mute.
Hewlett Packard.
Okay.
Hewlett Packard.
Microsoft.
We're all going towards computer companies. All close. It's actually Apple. All right. They have several mission statements. Who knows what year that was. Okay, how about the next one? Bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. Asterisk, if you have a body, you're an athlete. So who's their customer? Pretty much anybody, right? Anybody that has a body that has the aspirations to think of themselves as an athlete. Which company is this?
Under Armour.
Which one?
Under Armour.
Ooh, close.
Nike.
Ding, 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 ding. There you go. And to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. I see them a lot out here in California. Not as many. I saw a couple in Maine. Tesla. Yes. Yeah, there you go. All right. So see what they're doing, right? Think about that. We see these logos all the time. Don't always see their mission statement, but like you all knew at least what industry we're in. That those companies, that's what they're striving to do. And that's what you're going to be doing with your own company. All right. So here's the formula for how you're going to write your mission statement. Essentially, it's your ideal client description, health conscious consumer, local, hyper local supporter, lover of goat yoga, whatever, that your ideal client and your target audience is going to be, and then plus the benefit of your products and services, right? So for goat yoga, people who love being fit and want to experience nature. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we sow happiness by providing a joyful experience that improves mental and physical health through the wonder of nature and animals. And that is literally a goat yoga company's farm's mission statement. All right, so you know what we're going to do. We provide health conscious and support local consumers with nutrient dense organic small fruits and vegetables. All right, so we're going to have you guys go into 10-minute breakout rooms and get this to go again. Stop sharing, breakout rooms, and we've got next time. All right, welcome back, everybody. Who wants to share now? Who hasn't shared? Meredith. Brower, where are you?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, great. Would you mind sharing with us?
So I didn't get too far. I'm here in Tiverton Island, and I have a high tunnel, and I'm gonna start doing figs.
Oh, nice.
I've ordered the figs, they're not in the ground yet. I've got 25 coming so far. So I also run the local farmers market, so I kind of have an in to do sales. So my statement would be, we provide the local community and possibly wholesalers not get fresh and dried figs.
Brilliant. Okay, that's the what and Who's your who? Who's your target audience?
So we're sort of in a community where there's a tourist comes in for the summer. So we have, and I know that because of the market, we have a winter, 2 different locations. So it's our demographic is like 85%, 95% women between the ages of 45 and 65. So it's the women who are buying the food and have the expendable income for the household. So specifically them.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Amanda, how about you? Amanda Rawson. There you are. Okay.
Hi. So I didn't really get too far in my mission statement. Pretty much, I've never farmed before, but my
That's
ideal
okay.
goal would be
Yeah, what do you want to do?
provide the community with herbs and flowers as a supplement for medicines and teas.
Nice. Okay. Cool. Do you have some background in that, or is that something that you gravitate toward?
I gravitate towards it, and I've messed around with stuff not that I've grown, but that I've gotten from other people,
Uh-huh.
and that's kind of what I'm getting into. So
Cool. And who do you think your customers are going to be then?
people who look like me,
And what does that mean?
like middle-aged white women who are kind of granola and like to do stuff on their own. You know?
Yeah, and concerned about their health and think going
Their
back to
children's
nature
health.
is the right way. Children's health, yeah, great. Family health. Ooh, that's a good one, right? You know that your target might be, and kind of same with you, Meredith, is that your target might be the women, but the women also, not only are they the ones that are going out and doing the shopping, but they're also the ones that are feeding their families, right? So you have that expanded consumer that you don't even, that isn't a deliberate, like you're not selling to the kids, but you're selling to the kids through the mom. Right. And so I think that's a pretty powerful image and understanding to have for your business. And so you can market, a bunch of different ways, right? Because you're marketing to the mom, but you're going to be talking about their kids and the health of their kids. And then the moms are going to go, oh, yeah, I want me some of that. All right. Who else got something they want to share? How about Alyssa Heim?
Hello.
Hello.
So I am located in Mid-Coast, Maine.
Yay.
I'm also a Marine Corps veteran.
Nice.
So we have chickens and ducks for eggs. We also are planning on growing just a hodgepodge of produce. I'm a registered dietitian for my day job, so I'm trying to support providing our community with just more options here. So where I've gotten so far is growing and raising local foods with community commitment, sincerity, and creativity.
What's the community commitment part? They're committing to you or you are committing to them?
Our commitment to the community.
Okay. Okay, cool. Good. All right.
But I will clarify that. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah. Brent, how about you?
Yeah, so we're up here in Lincolnville, Maine, which I was just driving through Monroe yesterday. We bought an old 1820 dairy farm right outside of Lincolnville Center. We got Camden. We have a lot of, I picked this area because we have so many opportunities for markets around the area. I go to the Belfast Farmers Market, my favorite place in the world.
Yeah.
On the weekends. So I had a dairy farm years ago, and I went to school for animal science, and then I sold my cows in 1996 and usually was in boot camp 2 weeks later. And to the military, I've been a public affairs officer. I just retired a year ago as a lieutenant colonel, public affairs officer. So I'm looking more in the marketing side now rather than I can grow the stuff. So I put up my high tunnel greenhouses. We're trying to stay focused, but one of the things I'm really concentrating on is educating people where their food comes from. I see more and more demand for that, especially where I'm here because our farm is called Calderwood Farm. It's been in the Calderwood family since 1820. There's a couple of 90-year-old brothers that live around the corner here that grew up on this farm. So everybody's interested in what we're doing. They're stopping by. We tried like you did. We grew a lot of stuff last fall in the high tunnel, and we're still picking some stuff out of there. And I love bringing people in and just saying, picking spinach off the ground and just knocking the dirt off and and I throw it and I eat it. I'm like, I feel safe with this food, so should you, sort of thing. Um, I learned a lot in this last 2 years because I'm the public information officer for USDA Rural Development in Southern New England. So I go on a lot of farm tours. I'm seeing this really insurgence post-COVID of, having, resilient food systems that are close to home. So I think, my mission statement was more like, following best practice to optimize available resources around the farm and what grows here, making that connection with people. We strive to grow the best quality food, and we want everybody to visit the farm to come away with a newfound appreciation for where their food comes from.
Cool.
And really, after talking to you, it was a really long statement, mission statement, that's one of the tenets of a military officer to make everything look. I'm
Yeah.
trying to stay focused,
I resemble that comment. Yeah.
and our farm is really, we just put on a small flock of cotton sheep and we sell some eggs, but it's mostly the vegetables. So we're trying to stay focused with that, getting our farm store open, and it's hard to stay focused. I want to do so many different things, but I'm like, first year, I just really need to make that connection with people and a local, place for people to know that their food is grown, the way that they would grow it in their backyard, and it's fresh.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, you guys, what a great resource for you in this class. I don't know if you knew all that about Brent, but that's huge. You've got kind of some marketing, public affairs is huge, right? So he's got that a lot of experience in being able to engage with the customer and kind of share a story and stuff like that. Brent, the only thing I would say in there, and I'm surprised you did this, we strive to grow best produce. You
I know,
grow
right?
best
Yeah, yeah.
produce, right? Yeah, strive for
Well,
for
I
anything.
actually
You
wrote
can
this
do it.
business plan like 2 years ago, or yeah, more than 2 years. Well, yeah, 2 years ago. And I think I met you and talked to you at the ag trade show before I even bought a farm.
Oh my gosh,
So
cool.
I've been looking back at this, and like now I look at it, I'm like, man, I wrote this a long time ago, and I really need to really go back and read. I mean, I have been editing it, but it's an ongoing process. Really figuring out what works, what doesn't work.
It is. It is. Good. All right. But that lesson to everybody else, right? Anything that you're putting out there, you don't strive, you're not trying, you're not, gonna maybe someday, you're doing it, right? You are affirming it and you are putting it out there in the world, and that's what you're gonna do, right? Because if you say it, then it will that's 90% of the challenge.
Exactly.
All right. Anybody else want to share what you got? Michaela, how about you? I know we're spending a lot of time on this because we're going to go into it. The goal setting is a little bit longer, but I want to hear everybody's missions.
Yeah. Mine's short and has, I don't know if puns are allowed, but I like food puns. So
I love it too.
The name of my business is Ocean State Greens, and my mission statement is Ocean State Greens partners with local chefs and food purveyors to grow unbelievably delicious greens on demand. I don't know if I need the
I
on
like it.
demand.
I like that on demand actually, because greens you're talking about microgreens, right? Or and you can grow those pretty quickly. I like the on demand. I would keep that in there.
Yeah.
I mean, you do what you want, but I like it. I get what you're saying, and it gave me the, oh, I know those are microgreens. That's what she's going after, and absolutely to the restaurants, high end restaurants.
It's a mix, actually. You'd be
Oh,
surprised.
really? Good.
You'd be
Good.
surprised. I'm in Rhode Island, right on the border of Connecticut, and I do have one very high end, and then I've got like a local juice shop, and then
Perfect.
a couple of mid-scale restaurants too. But I didn't start with the high end, to be honest. The smaller people were the lower hanging fruit in this case. But
all right. Well, there you go. Good. Okay, everybody. So I think you get it. I appreciate that effort, and thank you for everybody participating so well. And okay, so we are at the top of the hour. Why don't we take a 10-minute quick break? Come back at 10 after, and we'll move on into goal setting. All right, perfect.